Hello Flosstube, this is AM Dreaming Stitcher, and today's video is part of my continuing parade of all the charts and kits and such that I have accumulated over my years of stitching. I know I will never be able to stitch them and that it is excessive, but the one thing that I can do with them is share them with others who like to see what's out there. I know that my tastes don't coincide with everyone's, but I hope that if you watch some of these parades, you will at least see something that catches your eye and interests you. I realize that my camera's not the best, my lighting is never the best, so I will try to give you just enough information about each item, chart, or kit that you could look it up for yourself and find better images and information elsewhere if you wanted to. These first few today, and I will try to keep the videos down to about 30 minutes in length, because if I tried to do all of them in one video, it would just go on for so many hours that it would be ridiculous. So these first few charts are from a company called the Silver Lining. They are all designed by the same gentleman. His name is Mark Sastad. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. Forgive me, I will do my best, but I cannot say all the things that I'm trying to share with you. He spells his name Saastad, and I will give you whatever information I can from the packaging on these charts. This one is a copyright of 2001. It is called Columbine. It has a stitch count of 86 by 222, which gives you an idea of the size of the piece you'll be working with. Obviously, the physical size will change depending on what fabric you choose, but the stitch count never changes. So it gives you some idea how much of a project you're undertaking when you know that stitch count. With some of their patterns, they give just DMC colors, but many of them, as with this one, use both DMC and anchor because they are not exact correspondence to each other, and you can switch them out when you need to for a design. But in this case, by using both, you get a more interesting gradient in the colors. So this is one of those that does use both. And it does have back stitch as well. So that was Columbine from the Silver Lining. I'll try to go through the others a little more quickly because I sort of did all my introductory remarks there. This one is Delphiniums. Again, Silver Lining, Mark Sastad. I probably won't repeat that on every one of these. I did show all of my irises and roses from this company in a previous video, but today it's the other flowers. This has a copyright of 2001. They have notes occasionally on their patterns like this. Keep in mind that the colors on the stitched piece will be brighter and much nicer than on the photographs. So they're acknowledging that what you see here is just hardly gives you an idea of how beautiful they really are when they're stitched up. In this case, the chart has a copyright of 2001, but instead of using DMC and anchor, it gives you a choice of DMC or anchor. There is no backstitching in this one, and it has a stitch count of 200 by 388. That makes it significantly larger than the Columbine, because the Columbine was only 86 by 222, and this one's smaller dimension is almost as big as that other one's larger dimension. So these do vary quite a bit in size. They usually have multiple pages to the pattern, and they're pretty generously sized, so they're pretty easy to read the patterns in regard to the size of the symbols. This one is Fancy Pansy 1 and 2. It's a copyright of 1997. I'm sure they're too tiny on your screen for you to see a lot, but they're kind of blue and yellow pansies with nice green leaves. This particular one is a small one, so it only takes 3 pages. It has a stitch count of 200 by 90 for the one that's kind of 2 pansies in one, and a stitch count of 83 by 74 for the one that you could probably stitch by itself. So you don't have to try to do them in a long frame like this with everything. You could just choose to do one or the other, or do them separately. This one uses only DMC floss. Next we have Geraniums. This one has a copyright of 2012. Same company, same designer. It's really pretty colors. I think their photographs were getting a little better by that point. It is designed on artwork by Catherine Klein, so to give her a little credit there. The stitch count is 138 by 257. It uses both DMC and anchor, and they do caution you that with their patterns they don't overlap the pages, so you need to be careful when you're stitching to see that you line them up right so you don't end up with errors. This one is called The Gossips. It is a copyright of 2001. It's a lovely sort of purplish pink. The design size or stitch count is 193 by 112, and it gives you an option of either DMC or anchor. It does have some back stitch. This one is called Lavender Lilacs, copyright 2004. Very lovely purple. I love lilacs. There are not a lot of flowers that grow in the desert environment that I'm in, but we do sometimes bring in flowers from elsewhere, and on the few occasions I get to see lilacs, I love the aroma of them. They're so satisfying to have around. This has a stitch count of 186 by 297. It uses both anchor and DMC. This one is called Red Pansies. I didn't necessarily set out to get so many pansies, but some of these I bought in lots on eBay, so it was kind of whatever flowers were coming in that batch. It has a copyright of 1999, and they use 6 pages for the layout on this one, but it has a stitch count of 170 by 179 and is stitched solely with DMC. This one is called Ruby Morning Glory. It is copyright 2013. I think it's the very first one I got from these folks. Has a stitch count of 173 by 261. It uses both DMC and anchor floss, and again the design is inspired by an artist, Catherine Klein. They even give her dates here, 1861 to 1929. So she's sort of a classic artist whose floral designs they have based some of these on. And there's just 2 of these left. One of them is called Smiling Faces 1 and 2. It's a copyright of 1996. It's so dark that I am not sure what the actual colors are without looking up the floss, but I think that's a really deep purple on the faces of those flowers. It says the design area is 88 by 88, but that's just for Smiling Faces too. If I opened the package and looked in, I could give you an idea of the size of the other, but it's probably about twice that length. It's done only with DMC, so it's probably 88 by, something doubled. And that's Smiling Faces too. Finally, my last silver lining that I know of. I had a couple others that didn't interest me as much, and I set aside. I don't know if I will find them and include them in this parade. I mean, if I'm sharing everything, you might like to see those. But I believe I've put them in a donation box somewhere. So I will have to look. But this is the last one that I intend to keep and would love to stitch myself. It is called White Foxgloves. It has a copyright of 1998. And there is, yes, a little starring bee off to the side there. A cameo appearance. I guess he's not the star. And it is stitched solely with DMC. It has a stitch count of 132 by 282. Oh, and they note that's the stitch count including the bee. So, there we go. All right, that was it for my silver linings, except as I said, I think there are several that I have tucked away somewhere, and they may show up in one of these parades. But for now, let's move on to some other designers and other charts. I will just keep going until my 30 minutes is up, so I can't tell you how many different designers and charts we'll see, but I know we've got quite a few coming up. This one is from NVP Design. It is part of a series of Celtic cross-stitch designs that they did. It is based on an original chart design by Robin McGrogan. It's called Epona 2, E-P-O-N-A, Roman numeral 2. Their model was done on a 16 count fabric, but you could do it on a 14 count, they suggest. It has a stitch count of 188 by 188, and if this looks familiar to any folks who have watched my other Flosstube videos, yes, I did stitch this and gift it to my sister, but I had it as a kit in that case, and this is the chart by itself. So they were available either as charts or as kits. It has various color options, not a lot of different colors, but they give you an idea how you could substitute other brands for this. I'm not sure I recognize those other brands. DMC and Anchor, but I don't, oh, JP Coats is probably the JPC. Anyway, their kit was on a natural Aida fabric, and I did stitch it. It's copyright 2002. I got that one even though I had the kit and had stitched the kit, because it was in a lot of 2 on eBay with this chart, and I really, really wanted this chart, so that's how I ended up with the extra Epona. This one is also from NVP Design. It's called Celtic Animal Spirits. The same designer, Robin McGrogan, is responsible for this one. It it has a stitch count of 253 by 253. And again, they give you some, no, they just give DMC colors this time. So if you wanted to do different colors, you'd have to figure those out yourself. It has a copyright of 2004. A little note on where they got their inspiration for the design. Next, I have 1 or 2 charts from Donna Vermillion Giampa. In one of my kit parades, I mentioned how much I do like her designs, and that they often appeared in Just Cross Stitch magazine in the years when I first started stitching in the late 90s. But her sister has very kindly sort of taken up the mantle of the Vermillion Stitchery and has been offering her charts again. Donna herself passed some years ago. This one is called the Cat Alphabet. It's copyright 1999 and 2002. Well, all we have on the back is a chart, so we're not going to do that. It is, has blended stitches and DMC, and they give some fabric suggestions. She sent me also, kind of as a freebie for ordering, a tiny, not particularly tiny, but a little free design. It's 42 by 50, so compared to the other things I've been showing, that is actually quite small. And they call that Miss Prim. So it was very kind of her to include that when I ordered the others. And some other free chart that I can't really show you. Let me give you, it's an eagle. It says, God bless America. There was a quick glimpse. Please don't use that to steal anybody's copyright. All right. And the other chart that I purchased at the time I got the cat alphabet is this one called the Wisdom Sampler. And I have seen some floss tubers stitching this one, and it's, I think, very, very lovely. Again, Donna Vermillion Giampa is our designer. She produced things through the Vermillion Stitchery. And I got mine at eBay. I'm not sure whether they are available in other venues, but as I said, her sister has kindly been reproducing the charts now so that people can get them, so that her sister's legacy lives on. That one does have DMC floss, blended colors, backstitch, and so on. All right, next I have 3 charts from Heritage Crafts from the John Clayton International Collection. They're carefully marked chart only so that you know what you're getting. This is one that I had a kit of also, but I got the chart first and then got an opportunity to get the kit, which means I probably paid too much altogether because you don't need both. But this one is called the Pyramids, and it's part of a series of these kind of vertical designs that he did. I'm not sure if they give me the stitch count where I can see it. Yeah, because it's a chart, I don't think they're likely to give me the stitch count. But there's another from this series. So for the Taj Mahal, which is one of my favorite landmarks. And here's one of Bruges. And here's one of, they call Spanish Arch. And those are all the ones I have, but they also in the series have Big Ben. They have one they call Paris, but it's the Eiffel Tower. They have Tulip Fields, Venice, Blue Waters, Greek Steps, Alpine Meadow. It really is a substantial series with a lot of different designs in it, and I like them all, and the colors are much more vibrant than what my camera's giving you. Okay, next I have a series of designs from a company called White Willow Stitching. They call these tribal designs, and there might be one or two I can't show you because I think they're only a chart. But this one is the most recent one that I acquired. It's called Tribal Penguin. The design is 62 by 133. The copyright date is 2011, and it's copyrighted to Jamie Larson. So I assume that Jamie is the designer behind the White Willow Stitching tribal patterns. Let's see if there's information on the back that would be of use to anyone. They tell you what their model was stitched on and with, and give you an idea how much thread you would need. I also got the tribal lobster. This design is 158 by 99 stitches. Again, copyright 2011 by Jamie Larson. It's from White Willow Stitching, and they give you the materials that they suggest on the back. This one is tribal fish. A design size of 149 by 123. Same information on the designer and company. And there's a little more to this chart. It puts it's just slightly too large to fit on one page. So we get our information that was on the back of the others on the inside here. This one I actually have stitched. It is Tribal White Rhino. It has a stitch count of 151 by 68. It's copyright 2012 from White Willow Stitching by Jamie Larson. I did mine on a blue fabric with kind of white floss. The next one is Tribal Octopus. Theirs is done with a variegated floss. I haven't worked with variegated before, so I'm not sure if I would do it that way, but it certainly looks very nice that way. It has a stitch count of 172 by 134. The copyright date is 2012. And again, they give you a floss shopping list, they say on the back of the chart. They give you a DMC suggestion, but theirs was done with Threadworks Earthstones. The next one is Tribal Crab. It has a stitch count of 147 by 97. Copyright 2011. Then we have Tribal Cat. Stitch count 127 by 144. Copyright 2011. This is one of those where it's mostly the chart. So I'm trying to show you. That's a tribal hen probably. Let's see what they call her. Tribal hen. And I also have the tribal rooster. This is copyright 2010. So let me see if I can pull the same maneuver to show you the rooster. There's the tribal rooster. And that's it for my White Willow stitching designs. I like some of their others, but I already have more than enough to stitch, and I can't stitch every design that I like, so that's it. This one, yes, it's in my cross-stitch chart parade. It's actually entirely black work. This is called Blackwork 1 Medieval Knight. It's by Ray Iverson from Moss Creek Designs. I'm sorry you're looking at a blank screen. I'm trying to see if I can find something like a stitch count for you, but I don't really see the area. They did do theirs with beads, floss and beads. Next, how are we doing on time? I have a number of designs that are kind of Southwestern themed. So if you're not into Southwest, those might take up my next 10 minutes. We'll see. I have a lot of, or some of these, I should say. I have kits from the same company. It says NP Designs, but they also go under the name Southwest Decoratives. And they are available as both kits and charts, and you can get most of them through the, what do they call themselves? Southwest Decoratives and Cocopelli Quilting Company. They were in Albuquerque, but I think they just moved a little south of there. But they are available online. And this is obviously an older copy of their design, but I've seen them. I originally encountered them in tourist and souvenir shops. They managed to get themselves in there. That particular design was just called Classic, and it's 2 different color patterns for that design. This whole is part of the Southwest Rugs, I think they call them. This one's Deer Dancer Yay. Again, forgive my pronunciation if that's terrible. This one's just Yay. These are all traditional Native American designs that have been adapted for cross-stitch, and I know there are other companies that do the same thing. But as I said, these originally were NP Designs and then Southwest Decoratives. So here's one of the newer ones. Southwest Decoratives Hot Plate Designs Navajo Rugs. So these 6 hot plate squares are all kind of taken from larger rug designs that they have. Although large is an exaggeration because none of these designs is particularly large. The last rug that I just showed you, do they give me a size? No, sadly they're not giving a stitch count. But that would give you some idea that they actually can be pretty small. Oh, there it is, 129 by 87. So these are not gigantic things. These are slightly smaller versions because they're for the hot plate. They're done on 14 count Aida, and if you do it that way, you get 4.5 inch squares. There's the kind of information they put on the back of their charts. It's a copyright of 2013. And they tell you which of their patterns were used, so that if you like that design, you could go look for the rug pattern as well. The rugs are not rug-sized rugs. As I said, they're just little designs, sort of miniature rug patterns. This one is from the Rugs of the Southwest series. It's called 2 Gray Hills. Again, they get the names from traditional designs. This was designed by Patty Grandel, and it's a copyright of 2013. This one is designed by Nancy DeCoco, also 2013, and it's called 2 Gray Hills 2. The stitch count on this one is 61 by 89, so again, very small. And the stitch count on this one is 73 by 111. 2 Gray Hills and 2 Gray Hills 2. This one is Ganado, copyright 2013, Nancy DeCoco from Southwest Decoratives. Rugs of the Southwest Special Edition series. Those tend to be larger and a little more elaborate. It's 119 by 191. So if you are shopping for the kits online, they do cost more when they're the special editions. They don't do just rugs. They do other designs as well. They have a whole series of Pueblo pottery. This one is Pueblo Pottery 2. It's Hopi pottery. They say it's geometric, polychrome, contemporary, and flute player. So again, they let you know the sources for their designs. It's designed by Ellen Nadler. Copyright 2013, Southwest Decoratives, and they give you, I'm sure they give you some information on the designs and on pottery. Here's another of the Pueblo pottery series. This is Pueblo pottery number 3. They tell you again which 3 they've got, but this is, please forgive my pronunciation, Acoma pottery, A-C-O-M-A, rather than Hopi pottery. It's designed by Ellen Nadler. I really like that one with the parrots. And again, they give you a lot of historical information on the back. Some of their designs are neither pots nor rugs. This is Southwest Designs number 3. It's based on members' pottery figures, part of the Southwest Design series. Copyright 2013 by Ellen Nadler. And again, some historical and other interesting cultural information on the back. This one is Southwest Decorative's 6 Kachinas, designed by Nancy DeCoco from Southwest Decoratives LLC, 2013. And gives you the names of each of the Kachinas on the back, and again, some cultural information. And I think this is the last of my Southwest Decoratives charts. I have some from some other companies, though. This one is called Navajo Rug Square Ornaments or Coasters. And it's old enough that it says NP Designs. As I said, they're now Southwest Decoratives and Kokopelli Quilting Company. It is copyright 1999. And they're very small, and again, they're taken from some of the rugs. When I do my chart parades, if you stick with those, they're nice enough to give us DMC, Anchor, and JMP. If you stick with those, you'll see a lot of kits from them. I'm clearly obsessed with them, the way that some people are obsessed with, say, mirrors. I'm obsessed with those rugs, I guess. I don't know why, I don't know how it happened. I wouldn't have felt that way when I started stitching, but I sure do now. All right, there's another company that I have several charts from. I don't think they're necessarily all together, but I do like their designs. They're called Art Ventures. This is from their Southwest Design series. They have birds of the Southwest. So we have several variants on the, looks like Gambel's quail, cactus wren, and a roadrunner. Might be another type of quail there too. She looks like a Gambel's though. It's an original design by Jean Lanning. Terrible photograph, but 6 designs. Yes, you do get all 6 with that pattern. This is from the same company, Art Ventures. I'm sure these are tiny and hard for you to see. My apologies. It's plants of the Southwest, and I see a saguaro, an ocotillo, an organ pipe cactus, I think, a yucca in bloom, and that looks like California poppies. Unless it's Arizona poppies, I mix up the two. I think they're California poppies. Again, a design by Jean Lanning, and you do get all 6 in the same kit. I'm sorry they were so small, but you couldn't really see them very well. Yes, those were California poppies, they told me on the back. Then I have, these are sort of mock-ups of what they would look like when stitched. I have the state birds of Arizona and New Mexico. We have the cactus wren and the roadrunner. And I do not remember the name of the company, so I'm going to try to open up one of these. And it may be a lot of crinkling, but see if I can tell you something about where they came from. I think I got them, I thought I had one of them open before. They're not necessarily wanting to open. I think I may have gotten them through Amazon. Lots of crinkling. I should have paused, perhaps. My apologies. They have color charts. Boston Needleworks is the name of the company. So let me share with you. Oh, it also has a black and white chart. So it's not solely color, you get both. And they have a materials list, and it gives you the color list, but it's Boston Needleworks. Did both designs. And they did, by the way, I think probably every state bird and a lot of other things as well. Those are just the 2 that I got because that's the region of the world I live in. And so if you like that sort of bird design, you might want to look them up. But that's a horrible noise. So sorry. Okay. Next. How's my time? Oh, that's it for time. So, and I just ran out of Southwest. Well, not entirely out of Southwest. I have some booklets too. But I was about to move on to something that wasn't just Southwest. But my half hour is about up, so I am going to wrap it up here, give you a little peek or preview of what's coming up. And I will film another segment, and they'll all get posted at some point. Right now I've been posting things weekly. I don't know if that'll continue to be the case. You can always save them all up and binge watch them later. It really doesn't matter. They're just there for people to enjoy if you're interested. So thank you very much for tuning in today, and that's about all I have to say except happy stitching. Bye-bye.